Hi guys. Okay, so I'm back, and this is sort of like a continuation video of the last video I made in regards to not being able to have a child due to having a chronic illness. If you haven't watched that video yet, I advise that you go and watch that video first, so you kind of have an idea of how this video carries on from then. But basically in this video, I wanted to touch upon, I guess I just wanted to touch upon pregnancy announcements, and how pregnancy announcements can affect people who can't have children of their own but really want children of their own. And I've witnessed how it can affect people through friends of mine who who were struggling with infertility issues, and when they would find out someone was pregnant, how how they dealt with it emotionally. And I too have experienced it. And yeah, I've seen many friends go through it. I've been through it. I'm sure there's many of you out there in a similar situation that has been through it. Pregnancy announcements can be extremely painful and emotionally distressing for people who are struggling to conceive, who've had a stillbirth, miscarriage, whatever the case may be, or who are in a situation like myself where their chronic illness, whether it be the treatment they're on for the chronic illness prevents them from getting pregnant, or just their health itself has affected either their finances or their physical capability of parenting. For whatever reason, they can't have a child because of their chronic illness. Pregnancy announcements can be a whirlwind of emotions. And I think it's very easy for people who are excited. And I mean, it's normal. Like if you're pregnant and you're excited about it and you want to have like a special announcement, that's wonderful, and everyone has the right to announce their pregnancy however they want. And but I think if the person that gets pregnant actually is aware of either a close friend or a close family member that has been struggling in that area, I just wish that people would try to be a little more thoughtful for those people in their lives in how they go about announcing they're pregnant. Because obviously, the person that's struggling is going to find out one way or another. They're going to know. But there's certain ways that they could find out about it that would soften the blow, I guess. I don't know that there's really anything that can fully soften the blow, but there's ways to do it in a mindful and empathetic way for that person so that they have a way to work through their feelings. So the thing is that I just, again, want to reiterate, I put it in the other video, it's not that people like me who are struggling to have a child or won't ever have a child, it's not that we are not happy for our friends and family who are pregnant or who have a baby or whatever. It's not that we're not happy about it. It's not that we're not excited for them. It's just that our pain overwhelms those emotions at the moment we find out. And it's extremely hard for us to express our joy and happiness for them right off the bat because we're so overcome with other emotions at the same time. And so it's a really difficult thing. And so for me, I found that it doesn't matter really how a friend has announced pregnancies before. It's just that any pregnancy announcement for me feels like I've been stabbed in the heart. And that is not the other person's fault at all. That's just me dealing with my grief. And the people there need to know that. But it literally feels like someone's just ripped my heart out, punched me in the gut, or stabbed me in the heart, or whatever. And it's like, I feel like I had the wind knocked out of me anytime I see it. Now, with that said, most of the pregnancy announcements I have dealt with have either been a friend telling me via text or seeing it posted on a friend's Facebook page. And while it still hurts when I see those, like, you know, when I get that text saying, hey, guess what, I'm pregnant or whatever, it's like, you know, oh my, like I get all these emotions. But what's great for me anyways, and I think for a lot of people in my situation, is that when you get to see it posted online or you receive it in a text, you don't have to respond immediately in that moment. You get to take time for yourself to cry, to get all those horrible feelings out. So that way, by the time you actually see that person face to face, you've worked through your grief, and then you can, you know, actually say, like, congratulations, I'm so happy for you, and hug them and all that stuff. And you know, you've worked through those feelings on your own privately. Because for me, it's like, I find a lot of the times I feel like I've got the wind knocked out of me, and then I kind of go numb. I sort of go numb and quiet for sometimes a couple of hours, sometimes a couple of days, and then all of a sudden it will hit me and I will start crying uncontrollably and I can't stop. And that'll be like that for like a full night or like a full day. And then I can finally start to like release that, let it go, and move forward. So I guess what I'm getting at, and what this article I'm about to share with you reiterates, is for me, anytime I've experienced someone announcing their pregnancy in person, you know, especially in like a group setting, whether it be like where you're with a bunch of friends or you're with a bunch of family and they announce it, those are even worse for me because I want to convey my happiness for them, but I'm overcome with my feelings. And so I'm just kind of sitting there trying not to burst into tears or have a panic attack or something. And I'm trying to like push it down. And it's like the most awkward feeling in the world. And you feel horrible and you feel guilty for even feeling like that because you want to be, you know, convey your happiness for them. You want to convey your excitement for them. But in that moment, you're so overcome with grief for yourself and for the child you will never have that it's, you know, it's like you've gone blind, like you can't, it's tunnel vision. And then you beat yourself up for feeling that way and you feel guilty, and it just makes the whole thing just even worse to me. So I know for me personally, I prefer finding out about someone's pregnancy via, you know, text or online or whatever. So that way I have a chance to process my feelings privately away from other people, work through them, and then I can respond with my, true happiness for the people. And if you feel the same out there, share in the description below, in the comments below this video. Just please share. But this is an article that basically someone's asking, they're saying, I am pregnant, she is not. How should I announce my pregnancy to an infertile friend? And I feel like this article gives really valuable tips and ways on how you can tell friends or family who are struggling in that area in a sensitive and empathetic manner. And it's just a really good article that I want to share. So it says, there's nothing more exciting than telling your loved ones that you are expecting. Am I right? I know I can't wait for the day. I dream of it. I plan it. I lay awake at night envisioning it. And so I am guessing you do too, because it's exciting to see their smiles and to hear everyone's congratulations. That is unless you must tell an infertile friend or family member your news. And then, well, it's awkward. I said it, it's awkward. And it's tricky because chances are you know their struggle. You know they have shed buckets of tears, poured countless hours into prayer, and spent thousands of dollars on doctors, vitamins, and treatments to obtain the blessing you are about to announce. Now, this is more for like people who have infertility, but I feel like it can also apply to people like me who have basically had to choose being childless for health reasons. And so you may even decide to hide it from her, at least for a little while. Perhaps you might just avoid her altogether and make a post on Facebook, or leave her out of the big group announcement. And I get it, because like I said, it's awkward and tricky. I wish I knew the exact formula for how you should tell her, but I don't. Because wouldn't that make it easier? Wouldn't it save you stress and her potential heartache? But like I said, even as a person who is struggling to conceive, I don't know the perfect way. The only thing I do know is that your announcement, whether to someone struggling with infertility or not, should be based on one principle alone: how close your relationship is to the person. Therefore, if you are close or even semi-close with your infertile friend or family member, I hope the suggestions below will help guide you as you navigate your way through unveiling your joyful news, because there's nothing more precious than showing compassion to another person who is struggling and needing grace, comfort, and love in a season of their life that is causing them so much pain. Number 1, when you actively start trying to conceive, let her know if possible. What a bold first tip, and I know what you must be thinking. Isn't this personal? And it is. Not suggesting you announce it to the world or blast it on Facebook, but rather just let your close friend who is struggling know. Because if your friend is aware that a pregnancy announcement might be down the pipe soon, then it will be easier for her to cope and deal with her emotions when it does come. Trust me, the less of a shock you give her, the better. 2, when you become pregnant, don't try to hide it from her. This one is important. I repeat, important, because trust me, women dealing with infertility have a keen sense of who might be pregnant around them. It's crazy actually how much we can sense in our spirits the second implantation has likely occurred in your uterus. So not telling her, but telling others may seem protective and easier at first, but most likely will backfire. Because for her, the worst way to ever find out about your big announcement is from another friend or an acquaintance, a coworker, or through social media. And so the protection of your thought you were providing her only made her feel betrayed, and the easy path you thought you were taking might just cause you to climb a treacherous uphill mountain in order to mend your relationship. Now, this one, I can kind of understand where they're coming from with it. At the same time, I guess for me, like, I'm not that upset if I find out from someone other than the person themselves. In fact, I almost feel like in my case, in my personal experience, I'd rather find out from an acquaintance or another friend or whatever, because again, it gives me time to process things privately. So anyways, number 3, text, phone call, or share it with her in a group setting. This one is tricky because everyone, and I repeat, everyone is different, which is very true. I just basically touched upon that. I personally would rather have a text, and that's what I agree. I'd rather have a text from the person, whatever, because I just never know what kind of day I'm having, how my moods are swinging, or my hormones are behaving. And so a private text message or a personal email gives me the time and space needed in order to process the news, process my feelings, then gather myself together privately in order to congratulate them in the manner they deserve without embarrassing myself by either bursting into tears or trying to win the Academy Award for not being affected at all by their news. And group announcements are never good for me, like never. And I agree. I'm with that mindset. Plan your words, choose them wisely. I know you're excited, and trust me, I believe 100% that you have every reason to be excited over your impending bundle of joy. But please do not burst into the room jumping up and down while screaming, "We're having a baby," and then proceed to chatter about your due date and the glow that you are feeling. Instead, first ask her how she's feeling, then gently tell her the news. If you don't know what to say, I suggest you start out by saying something like, "I wish I knew the perfect way to tell you this news, but I don't. I found out that I'm pregnant, and I wanted you to hear it from me first. I also want to give you as much time and space as you need to process this news because I know it might hurt. So if you don't want to talk about it, I understand, but please know that I love you, I care about you, and I'm praying for you." Like, seriously, if someone like said something like that to me in telling me they're pregnant, I would be like, that would blow my mind, because that would be so thoughtful and kind. It says, "Trust me, these words are far better and easier to swallow. If you plan to make the announcement in a group setting, tell her prior to the event." Again, can't agree more. As much as your plan to announce that your family is growing by 2 feet sounds like an awesome idea at your upcoming family reunion, it's probably going to place your infertile friend or family member in an awkward position. But please don't let it stop you from your dream of announcing it in a big group, because telling the entire family together is a great idea. I just suggest that you simply give your friend, family member a private heads up before the big day. Maybe even give her 2 or 3 days prior to the big reveal to process the information so that she can pull herself together emotionally if she needs to, or perhaps even exit quietly before you make your big announcement. I couldn't agree with this whole statement more. Like, yeah, because it's just awkward being in that. Yeah, I 100% agree with this. Tell her privately. Please do not tell your friend in a crowded restaurant, the hallway at your church, or in the break room at your workplace while she's microwaving her lunch. My best advice is to share your news somewhere out of the public eye where she can get teary-eyed without being self-conscious of those who are around her and who might judge her reaction. After you make the announcement, give her space and time to process the news. Your friend might smile, she might give you a warm hug and say congratulations. But then again, she may not. Instead, she may cry. She may run out of the room. She may refuse to eat lunch with you for a week or 2, but please don't take it personal, because your friend does want to be happy for you. But it's normal for her first reaction to be that of heartache. And her reaction, it's about her feelings of loss and not because she's unhappy about your pregnancy. And then, of course, stay in touch. If she doesn't call you back or talk to you for a week, just check in with her via email or text. See how she's doing by letting her know that you're thinking of her and that when she's ready for lunch again, you're ready for the invitation. Please don't give up on your friendship, because now is the time in which she needs you and your grace the most. And then they just go on to saying, "Thanks for taking the time to read this. it shows just how much you want to be sensitive to your friend or family member. I would also like to take this time to emphasize that this is not a rule book. It's just a suggestion guide. Therefore, if one of the suggestions rubbed you the wrong way, don't be upset or take offense. Everyone is different and everyone has different needs. Therefore, what one person will need, another person might not. This post was written with the general infertility community in mind. So that's the article there. And I couldn't agree, like I agree with it 100%. And funny enough, I did share this article on my Facebook page, and the interesting thing happened when I shared this. So I only got 2 comments on it. I got some thumbs up on it, and the thumbs up were mostly from the women in my life who are childless and dealing with similar things to me. They thumbs up the article. And then I had 2 comments on the article. Both comments were from men in my life. And I personally feel like men have no place to comment on this, because men will never understand exactly what women go through in terms of wanting to have a baby and you can't have one. They will never understand what the pain is like when you find out someone else is pregnant and you're not. They just will never get that, because they don't have that like maternal instinct that women do. Like, it's a very hormonal thing for most women. And I'm not saying, I mean, there's plenty of women out there who just choose not to have kids at all. Like, they just don't like kids. They don't want kids. And that's fine. Like, there are some people that just don't have that drive to have kids. But I'm talking about the ones that do and can't. And so my uncle commented on, what the hell? Like, they should just be happy for a new life regardless. And to me, that says that, like, and I said to him, like, did you read the article? And he said that he did. And I'm like, then you somehow didn't process the article, because it clearly says in the article that we are happy for the person. Like, we're happy for the person having the baby. It's just that when we find out about it, we're overcome with our grief. And we have to process that grief before we can fully express our joy. And so he totally missed the whole point. Again, he's a man, so whatever. Then my dad commented on it and said it shouldn't matter how they announce pregnancy. I'm like, again, you don't get it. You're a guy. So, like, you have no idea the pain. Like, there's just like this empty hole in your life. And you're trying to fill it because it's just this hole, this emptiness. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there who are in similar situations will totally understand what I'm saying. I'm surprised I haven't gotten emotionally. I've managed to keep my emotions in check. A couple times I almost was on the verge of tears, but I think because I gave myself a few weeks to process everything before making these videos, I could talk about it a little less emotionally. But I just thought this would be interesting videos to put out. Again, I just didn't want to show myself on camera, so we're looking at sweet little Noah here. But I will write in the description that basically, like, this is an adult topic. But I figure showing the reborns is fine, because the fact of the matter is a lot of us in the reborn community got into the reborn community because of infertility issues, because of not being able to have children of our own. And I guess this brings me again, like I have a other full video about, can reborn dolls replace having a real child? Can they fill that void? Um, I feel like sometimes I feel like they can, and other times they just don't. But anyways, guys, for those of you going through similar situations, let's chat in the comments. Tell me your experiences, your stories. How do you handle when you find out other people are pregnant? What do you think of the article? Do you agree with it? Do you feel like, there's like, do you have a certain way of finding out someone's pregnant that you can handle better than another way? I don't know. I kind of have to agree with the text message way, because I've received pregnancy announcements twice that way, and I felt like those were the easiest for me. Online on Facebook is probably the second easiest way, but I still have trouble with that because a lot of times what people will do to announce it on Facebook is they'll post their sonogram photo. And sonogram photos are extremely triggering for me, I find, because I'm never going to experience that either. So seeing like a sonogram photo just like sends me into a downward spiral. And I feel like when people post it on Facebook, you've got other people on Facebook that are commenting their congratulations, and you feel like you're expected to say something, even if you're not ready to. But I also feel like Facebook isn't too different from text, because you can still allow yourself time to respond, because it is online, and that person has no idea whether or not you've seen or haven't seen their post. So you can sort of take the time there, but I feel like, I don't know, both of those methods are probably the better way for me to handle it. But if they're going to announce it on Facebook, I'd prefer that it's just an announcement. I'd rather they not slap the sonogram picture up right away. But again, it's their way they have the right to do it their way. But I just feel like if the person is aware of someone in their life that's struggling, they should try to take that into consideration. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below about this topic. I know it's a hard topic to talk about for a lot of us, but I am really curious to know what your thoughts and feelings are on this. Okay, guys, well, that is it for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video. And hopefully the next video will be more lighthearted. Thanks, guys. Bye.